Hey, this is Edwin from Making an Impact, owner of Foxhound Advertising, and I am just going to jump into what this video is all about: how to find new customers, increase sales, and get more clients in 2023. Now, what we're going to do in this video is explore some of the reasons you might be facing a pipeline that's up and down, that kind of feast or famine roller coaster. We'll take a look at, cold outreach. Does that work? Does it take too long? We'll talk about some things like paid ads, and really we'll get to what I think is the ultimate tool for getting new customers, increasing your sales, getting more clients, and that sort of thing. And in a moment, I'm actually going to show you, like one way that just completely blows all of these methods out of the water. But first, we got to start with where you're at right now. More than likely, you're watching this video because you feel like your client getting machine is an up and down feast or famine roller coaster. I got my fancy little picture here. If your lead generation or your business development, your client getting, whether or not you are B2B, B2C, if you're a service-based, in a service-based industry, if you are selling physical products online, business can feel like this sometimes. And it's not just the up and downs, right? Sometimes it's you'll go sky high, like you'll have a great month, you might have a great week, you might have a great quarter, you're on cloud nine, and then suddenly reality hits, right? There could be reasons, all over the board, economic reasons, changes in your marketplace. Obviously, if sometimes when you grow too fast, you reach capacity and you can't even handle the current client load that you've got. I've talked with so many like consulting clients, folks who their offer or their service is like business consulting or coaching, things like that. And inevitably, the story's almost the same, right? We started getting a lot of clients. We were so busy. We were focusing on fulfilling for our clients, serving them to the best we could. And then we woke up a few weeks later and the pipeline was completely empty. Once we finished the projects, we were starving for work. And it's just obviously not cool, not fun. And, the question is, okay, how do we mitigate this? How do we, ride these storms, but actually reduce these up and downs? And the first method, most people talk about is you got to do cold outreach, right? You got to do cold email, you got to do cold calling, any sort of method where you get people basically upset at you. And I'm not saying that this isn't bad. There's tons of large corporations, especially like B2B, that are successful with cold outreach. It is a viable option. I'm just not sure it's right for you if either you're just starting your business or you're kind of a smaller operation. And the reason I say that is because it's so time intensive, right? Number one, is so time intensive, and that's our most important asset as business owners. That's probably why you started a business in the first place, was to have time freedom. But then number two, it's not just time intensive, it's emotionally just fatiguing, right? Constantly, kind of chewing through the cud, trying to find the diamonds in the rough. You make 100, cold calls. You maybe talk to 10 or 15, 20 people, and maybe one of them says, yeah, I'm kind of interested in hearing some more. And maybe you set up an appointment and hopefully you close that deal, right? There's just so many steps along the way. And when you are personally facing that much rejection on a daily basis, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're Superman and you just love that, and that recharges you and fills you up. But I know, just for me personally, that doesn't fill me up. And a lot of times the types of clients that I work with, very quickly find out like, yeah, I didn't sign up to starting a business so that I could just hop on the phone all the time and get people, chewing me out, saying that I am a unwelcome pest in their life. And the same thing, with, if you've tried cold email, oftentimes it can kind of leave a bad taste in people's mouths. Seems like you're spamming them from out of nowhere. And there's ways that you can get around this. You can mitigate this. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard of customizing the email. If you can find something that's really unique, right? This is the thing. This is the thing. If you are trying to use cold outreach, this is what I found. One way to kind of break through the noise very quickly and very easily is be unique. All right. So be unique, not necessarily bigger and better. So if if you're a service-based industry, and you deliver a certain result in a matter of 60 days or 90 days or something like that, and then you're trying to cold call and say like, we're the guys who will, get this property sold within 30 days. Well, then someone else is going to come along and say, well, we're the guys who are going to get this property sold in 15 days. And then someone else is going to say, like, I will get your property sold in 5 days. And someone else is going to be, well, I'll get your property sold in 5 minutes. It's this race to the bottom, right? Which, eventually you hit a point where, like, well, it's impossible to actually deliver on this thing. On top of, it starts to become so unrealistic that people start, not believing you at all and just being like, yeah, shut up and click, or I'm going to ignore this email, I'm going to ignore this LinkedIn message, and people just start shutting down. So it's not about being bigger and louder, it's actually about being unique. What do you do, what can you do that is unique? Great story I can think of were these guys who they were in a service-based industry. They'd have to actually my understanding is they would actually dress up in tuxedos and suits, and they were security guards, and they were like the most well-dressed, dapper guys ever, but they were security guards. And it got people talking, right? So that, they'd go, they'd maybe, set up shop in one business, they'd be the security for this tower or something like that. And inevitably, when other people would come to do business there, they would notice, like, man, that is the best dressed security guard I have ever seen. And that started to become their tagline. That's what they started using as their marketing. And boom, it's something called a talk trigger. And just, it was something unique that everybody noticed, and they were able to cut through the noise very quickly. So that's kind of, if you want to use cold outreach, not my first choice, but if you want to use it, do whatever you can to be unique. And that's how you'll stand out on the cold call. That's how you'll stand out on the cold email, or the LinkedIn messages, Facebook messages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, besides, doing cold outreach, what I personally prefer is what is called an inbound marketing funnel, right? So I like inbound because now we are not going out and being unwelcomed guests. This comes from a story by Dan Kennedy. He's a big marketing guy, and he kind of tells this really humorous story. Maybe I'll tell it in more depth sometime, where he was sitting in his home working. He refuses to have email and computers, and he just has a fax machine. He didn't have the phone plugged in, yada, yada, yada. And suddenly someone comes up and is knocking on the glass door at his home, or knocking on the front door. And Dan Kennedy's like, I'm focusing, I'm working. He ignores it. Now the person circles around to the back, finds Dan Kennedy in his office, starts knocking on the glasses, pounding on the glass. And finally, Dan Kennedy's like, well, nuts, this guy sees me now, so I have to go and answer him. He goes up to the window, and the guy is yelling, the shrubs behind your house are on fire. It's about to catch the whole house on fire. In that moment, that guy outside pounding on the door went from a most unwelcomed guest to a very most unwelcomed pest to a very welcomed guest. And that's the magic of having an inbound funnel, right? Is finding what is that pain point that's going to get people actually pounding on your door saying, like, I've got this pain point, please, can you help me? And they're trying to get your attention. And obviously you're able to be like, yep, here's our product, here's our service, book an appointment, et cetera, et cetera. And so an inbound marketing funnel, this is super, super, super simple. You just break it down, 1, 2, 3. You only need 2 or 3 things. Okay. The first thing you need is a lead magnet. All right, so a lead magnet, you probably experienced this before. You see people giving out a free brochure, a free ebook, a free download, a free sample, anything, whether you're, a service-based business, a product-based business, there's just something that is being put out as bait, and it's a lead magnet. And the whole point behind this is either to solve someone's pain immediately. So what's just one little pain you can solve today real quick if they just read this little piece of information, or if they just try this little product, try this little bit of cream. What is the kind of the smallest thing you can give them that's going to give them a real big quick hit of, like, hey, that kind of that solved my problem immediately. I want to find out more about these guys, right? So you put that out there. Whatever that is, and it can either solve a pain, or it can deliver a big pleasure, desire, whatever it is they're trying to get. Either one. And when you give this to people, you give it in exchange for some sort of contact information, ideally, an email, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, when you get their email, the very first thing you want to do, either in your lead magnet, if you write a little ebook, if you make a little PDF, obviously if you're handing out samples, add a little a coupon or something like that, you want to immediately ask people to do your call to action. Now, your call to action is any next step you want people to take. It could be a purchase, right? This could be, hey, try a little sample of this, try one of these cookies. And by the way, here's a little coupon with our free sample that if you buy a dozen today, you get a half dozen for free or something like that, right? So it could be literally to just get them to purchase something right now on the spot after they've tried your little sample here, your lead magnet. It could be something, like setting up an appointment, getting a free estimate if, you're doing solar or real estate, something like that. This can be anything, whatever that next step is that you need your prospective buyer to take to get closer, in your funnel here or to buying something from you. So you've got your lead magnet, you immediately ask them for the call to action. But remember, when we gave them this, we also asked for their contact email. So this could be their email address, this could be their phone number. So E for email, P for phone. And now you've got a list. And this is super important because this list is how you fix and how you solve the up and down roller coaster. This is my favorite method. Once I learned this, once I started implementing this, my entire life changed. Like literally, I could feel the neurons in my brain transforming, because the first time I experienced this, I was like, this is so much better. Okay, so what's cool is now that you've got people on this list, 80% of people aren't going to take you up on this at first, right? It's called the rule of ding, dang, darn it. The rule of ding, dang, darn it tells us, and this is something I heard from Frank Kern. I love how he says it. He uses a little more French language in it, but I call it the rule of ding, dang, darn it. 99% of the people aren't going to do what we want them to do at first, right? You give out 100 free samples of cookies, and 99 of the people are be like, oh, cool, free cookie, thanks. And, that's it. They disappear. But, one person might buy right there, then and there. Great. But if you capture some contact info, now you can follow up with folks, and you can basically keep remarketing to them saying, hey, remember when we gave you this awesome free thing? How's it going? Would it be a crazy idea to get more results? And you ask them to go to that call to action. Okay, so if it's, hey, we're running a special on our cookies. We're actually giving away 2 dozens for free, this weekend only. Boom, you can hit them up with that. If it's like, hey, we've got some open slots on the calendar. Normally we charge $100 for a consultation, but for this weekend only, we are giving it at half price, or we're giving it for free. And you can just keep dripping to people your call to action, whatever it is you need them to do. And you can imagine, as you keep growing this, that is what's going to mitigate the ups and downs. Because if you run into a down season, you can just ratchet this up. Okay, we're hitting a down season. Maybe your business is literally seasonal. I live down here in Florida. When it's snowbird season, man, like the traffic is bumper to bumper. But as soon as May or June rolls around, boom, everybody's back up north. And for a lot of local businesses here, their sales plummet, their demand plummets. And so if you've got a big enough list to where, okay, cool, now we got a summer special, for our restaurant. And if you come in and you bring a friend, we're going to give you a free, bottle of wine with the, $100 dinner, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so there's all sorts of ways to milk this, and long term, I'll probably do a series of videos just on the power of this, because this will transform your business. This is why businesses buy other businesses. They don't necessarily only buy other businesses for the assets in terms of like the machinery they might have, the employees that they have. What they are really buying, the lifeblood of the business, is this right here, is the list. That is what makes a business truly valuable, because if you can buy someone else's customer list, now you can send them even more stuff. You can release even more products and services. The sky's the limit there. And you've got this machine that, hey, this is how we get people on the list. Great. Now this is how we sell people. Now that we're selling people, we can go and put more money into other forms of advertising and things like that to get more people seeing our lead magnet and getting on our list. And this is what creates a self-sustaining ecosystem. Now I told you there's like 2 or 3 things you need here. The two that you definitely need is, your lead magnet, and you just need to be building the list. The third piece is the traffic, right? Because you might be looking at this like, okay, great, that's super simple. Like, let's go out there, boom, create a lead magnet, get people on an email list, and boom. And I can do some videos more in depth about, what to send people and everything like that down the road. But first, to even get to this point, you got to have traffic, right? You got to be putting this lead magnet in front of people somehow. There's bajillions of ways. You could use cold outreach. And what's really cool about, I literally do this sometimes, have someone on my team just like cold call out. And what's beautiful is now it's not like, hey, Mr. So-and-so, do you mind if I try selling you something right now? I know I'm interrupting your busy day, and I know you don't know anything about me, and I know you're probably sick of getting sales calls. Instead of having to go to that route and getting rejected all the time, imagine when you cold call someone and you're like, hey, we put together this free little course. It's a bonus course. It shows you how to get, X, Y, and Z, super simple, super actionable. Obviously, there's a little invitation at the end for you to learn more about us, for you to, find out what it looks like working with us. But, we're just giving this away to business owners for free so they can use it to go get X, Y, Z results. When we get through to people, we have like 80%, 90% opt-in rates, just cold calling people about this. And so we're not trying to sell the thing. We're not trying to sell the product or the service or anything. We're just like selling the, hey, do you mind if we send you this free thing that'll help you out? And we let them know, okay, great. When I send it over to you, it is going to come as like a 10-part email sequence. Do you mind if we put you on our list so we can let you know about other offers and things that we have coming down the pike? And almost always everybody's like, yep, no, that's great. Really appreciate it. And boom, now we've got this person, and we've grown our asset here. And whether or not they buy this thing today, not a big deal. We're building all sorts of know, like, and trust over here, and eventually, they're going to be buying more people. And then here, this is just less emotionally fatiguing. Life is you enjoy your cold outreach and everything there. So that's one method. Obviously, there's the other methods of like paid advertising. You do use Facebook ads, Google ads. A lot of times people are saying like Facebook ads are going up and up and up and everything. And, kind of looking here, 2020, 2023, yeah, they kind of went up in 2021, but they're actually kind of down right now in terms of just how much it costs to get in front of 1,000 people. Like right now, February 23rd, it costs $9.57 to get in front of 1,000 people. That's not bad. If you put your lead magnet in front of 1,000 people and they're the right people, imagine how quickly you could start growing this list. Now, I did tell you there is another way, though, that's just totally gangbusters compared to this. And the little piece that people don't tell you about, like Facebook ads, is how expensive it is on the front end when you're first getting started. I have even personally with our own clients, I caution a lot of our clients, if like, hey, if you don't have paid ads going yet, and if you don't have a ton of momentum in your business yet, or you're not super confident, like if you don't have this machine built out yet 100%, I wouldn't recommend just started right off the bat with Facebook ads every single time. You need to have some assets in place, because at the end of the day, the thing that people don't tell you about Facebook ads, if you choose to start with those, and same with Google ads, any sort of advertising campaign, apologize about my chicken scratch there, is it's scientific, right? Which everybody says is like, that's the cool thing about ads, is it's scientific. You can just, you just dial it in. There's always two sides to the coin, right? And the two sides of the coin is that, yes, it's scientific, but it's scientific. And part of science is literally just failing at your experiments as many times as it takes until you find the proper way to dial this solution in. I've been getting into the show Mythbusters, I've been watching that lately. And I just the other day, I heard them, make this claim, failure is always an option. And they were talking about how, like, failure is what science is all about. Is you try an experiment and you don't know, and that is part of the process. You're going to try something and it's probably going to fail, but now you've got some feedback and you can go, okay, that didn't work, but let's try this. And that fails, and okay, let's go try this. That's what you have to do with Facebook ads. If someone tells you, like, we guarantee that, in your first 10 days, you're going to have profitable Facebook ads and you're going to scale to the moon, I would be a little cautious about that, because this is kind of like cold outreach. it takes time. It is time intensive. Now, what's nice is you can pay it. If you dump lots of money onto it, you can speed up that time. So if you put, instead of $9.57 down today, and you put, $9,000 or $90,000, boom, very quickly you could, run lots of experiments and find what things aren't working and what things are. More than likely, though, if you're watching this video, you don't have $90,000 to put down on ad spend today. So that is why I recommend a little known way, and this is really, really cool. I'll actually pull it up here. I'll put this link down in the chat if you want to check it out. But instead of spending all that money testing ads, my partner actually has a way, Paul Murphy, he's got a way for you to actually get free Google ads. Now, how this works is, let's say, I'm just going to say, let's imagine I'm a hairstylist, a hair salon, and I need more clients, right? And I was looking this up the other day. So, if, you go to Google, when people search on Google, there's a million, 280,000 search results. But what's really interesting is you can start to find out, oh, look, okay, which hairstyle suits me? Male. 5,400 people are searching for this thing. That's interesting. And what's really cool is there's these little spots here that start popping up that are just as good as Google ads. Okay, so right here, there's three YouTube videos right here. These were all posted 2018, 2019, 2020. These guys, they are getting traffic sent to their little YouTube ad for 590 searches a month. All right, so that's a lot of people for making a little YouTube video, and totally free. And so kaboom, now you got free traffic. You've got an evergreen asset every single month. Okay, this isn't like a Facebook ad. The other thing they don't tell you is okay, you start paying this money, you might spend all this time dialing in your Facebook ad, tweaking it, doing all these scientific experiments, and you finally get one that's working, it's converting, this is awesome. And then 7 days later, it literally just starts fatiguing, because the thing about Facebook ads is you're still interrupting people's day. You're still popping up in the news feed. Same with Instagram ads, TikTok ads. You are popping up in the news feed, and you are, trying to interrupt people and say, hey, pay attention to me. Life is about me. And people don't want to pay attention to you. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's good. I'm just saying, I don't know if I would start with this versus, hey, if I start typing in, I don't know which hairstyle suits me, and I'm a male, more than likely I'm thinking about getting a haircut pretty soon. And if you pop up here, and I mean, these guys, they got this running here, and it would be as simple as, we'll see if they actually did it.
Face shape. In this video, I'm going to be showing you.
Let's pause this. Come on. Waiting for. Yeah. Okay. So. He's got all these links to all these other things. Imagine how simple it would be for you if you're a hair salon owner and you just put a link here, book your, hair salon appointment with me. That's literally it. And 6.8 thousand people have liked this video and 307 have commented. There's people just searching this stuff all day long. And again, if you're going to go through all the work trying to create an advertisement, which is totally, I think you should do, you should create an ad that gets people to your little lead magnet thing. And then, let them know about your call to action. But I just hate reinventing the wheel every single day, versus if you could just go create one of these in one day, boom, that easy. Now, in my next video, I know this is a lot of high level stuff here, so I'm going to go, deeper into some things. Definitely for the next video, I have planned to talk about how to qualify leads using my 3-point lead qualification checklist. So if you're more B2B, or you're kind of more of a service-based industry, or if you're having to do lots of sales calls, high ticket sales calls, things like that, you might be looking at this okay, that's great that you can send people over to your lead magnet, but I want to make sure I'm getting the right people into my list. I want to make sure I'm getting qualified buyers with intent who can have the power to make decisions. Well, I'll go deep into that on my next video. But until then, make sure you hit the bell, subscribe to get that next video. And also in the comments section below, let me know what you would like me to go more in depth on in a later video. I know today I just kind of breezed over this stuff. high level. So you might have some more questions either, about the Facebook ads or, about, what do I send to this email list? What kind of call to action should, whatever it is, type in the comments below. Let me know, like, what would you like me to go really in depth on and do a full video just about that next. And I'll definitely make sure to add that to the list. And until then, obviously stay awesome. I'll make sure, I stick that link down in the comments. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. So I will see you next time.